Full
I mean?
hog.
So
Full
really
hog. He
times,
loves the
I
full
feel like
hog
he's
thing,
criticized
chat.
hard
Full
and he's willing
hog.
to
Full
accept anything the
hog.
Democratic
I don't
I
always
also
go
would say,
half
like,
hog.
I
When I do, I
our
scare the
coverage
fuck
of
out of
January
people.
6th. This is
Complete
correct.
hog. Do you like to
It's
go complete
splitting
hog,
along
chat?
things.
What if 30 to
A
50
true,
feral
actual
hogs were
multi-race
just storm the
working class
Capitol
coalition.
building?
Yes,
Yeah, they're not the
adversaries
enemy. They're
is
only trying to
people
take
who
your
are
democracy
holding
away from you
power,
so
who
they
are
can have
the
4 more
best
years
for
of
the system,
Trump.
like,
The
urging
hog.
Let them down
Yeah,
an
at least
ideological
Briscoe was
path I
never on
disagree with.
nazbol, right?
It
She
doesn't
might have
do
done
anything.
some
The condemnation is meaningless.
questionable
I also
So,
think there's a very selective
things, but she never kissed
opposed to
Crystal's
the
ass.
mass incarceration
Who
that
fucking
did
watches
not
Crystal?
help
Wine
views.
moms? Now I'm
Oh,
wondering,
like
like,
70%
what's gonna
of the poll,
happen
like
if he gets an
70% or
interview
something
with
agree
Jimmy
with the
Dore?
Clinton
Is
Miller.
he gonna, like, fucking rehabilitate Jimmy Dore? Are we gonna
Oh, yeah,
rehabilitate
sorry.
Jimmy Dore?
That's
He's got a
all
lot
the
of
time.
viewers,
I am
Vaush. Jay on the Nazbol Vortex. She gave me an idea of what Vaush
If you
said.
watch this channel for any length of time, you probably
This
know
is
that I'm
what
not a big
Vaush
fan of
is-
Crystal Ball or The Rising or just anything in that ballpark.
Can anybody
And
find
there's
this
a
for
very good
me?
reason for that, and the reason for that is because I feel like Crystal Ball is aptly named for the ancient artifact that was cursed, that hexed her entire family, leaving her unable to engage in any political analysis besides bashing Democrats. You know, look at the title of this fucking video. This just came out. Crystal Ball.
Yeah, the
will
rising
liberals
on the
ever admit
hill.
how wrong they were about Trump. Look, I'll go up to bat for liberals right now. Wrong about what exactly? Wrong about what? We're literally in the midst of the Trump administration declaring that they refuse to accept the election result. Like, what are they?
She's
wrong
leaving the
about right
hill
now?
and going
Like,
independent.
what claim did they make about Trump that ended up
Vaush
not
finally
being
has a good
accurate?
take.
Because
Well, this
we
is a
basically
long time ago.
correctly guessed every single bad thing that he was going to do, and even missed a few. I didn't expect the Trump administration would quietly ask the Supreme Court if they could get rid of gay marriage or get rid of gay men's right to adopt people. I didn't think he was going to do that, but hey, that's, you know, I'm always excited by his capacity to go beneath the bar I have set for him. Wait, what? Wait, you guys didn't know that? Yeah. You guys didn't know that? Hold on. Supreme Court, gay marriage, Trump administration. Yeah, I did a segment on this. Yeah. He also said he would seriously consider Supreme Court justice who would once again outlaw same-sex marriage. At one point, he actually asked the Supreme Court whether or not they could, like, quietly run back that decision. You can. I have videos on it. Whatever.
Did
Anyway,
they end it? No, the clip was like the clip was really short. It wasn't the whole thing. It was just like a 13-minute clip.
Not sure what happened here.
I think they talked for a lot longer.
Sorely disappointed. I mean,
I saw like a streamer that seemed to have it, but I don't know where it is. I don't know where the full thing is. Does anybody know?
For years now, and I'm getting a little impatient, waiting to see how it all goes down.
we are literally
So this is
in the
from like
midst of the Trump
right after,
administration
yeah, right after
filing
like January
lawsuits
16th.
against Pennsylvania.
Oh no,
to
no. Okay, so he's
disenfranchise
watching
the
something
entire
that was
state.
like
It is
from before that.
currently happening. She sounds exactly like Ben Shapiro. Remember the Ben Shapiro
Like,
segment
and
where
then
he was like,
he's
well,
talking
to
after
liberals,
January
Donald Trump is
6th
the
and being like,
Antichrist,
this
and they
aged
believe
well.
that as soon as Joe Biden wins, that he is going to instantly fix every problem. This is exactly the same.
It was just
horseshit.
clip shipped?
I'm sorry,
Wait, what do you
Crystal Ball,
mean?
How far exactly does the line need to go? Like, does the Trump
Did they end
administration
it?
need
Did
to
they
start sending
finish? I
unmarked
don't know.
vans
All I
into
saw was
fucking,
one clip on Kyle
Philadelphia to start
Kulinski's
gunning
channel.
down black people? Like, where exactly is the line?
That's all that seems to
At which
be.
point you would be concerned. Do you need to be in the gas chamber for you to be like, well, I guess they were right to be concerned about Trump? Or would you be in there going like, you know, liberals said that Trump would put me in the gas chamber in their first term, not in the middle of his interim second term after he refused to concede the election. Like, what exactly is the line here?
Vaush says Crystal is like Ben
I was
Shapiro.
told this election wouldn't even
Yeah, he's not a
happen
fan.
because Trump
He's
would
definitely not a
cancel it,
fan.
or
This
at
is
least
super
postpone
weird.
it indefinitely.
He is currently doing the extent of the legal thing he can do, and he tried to postpone the election. He tried to do everything you're talking about. The only reason he wasn't able to is because of people who took the threat of Trump seriously.
It's also only part of that, the part that is released, so there's no more. Okay.
Cross your arms and make fun of liberals anytime they get any legitimately concerned estimation of Trump's behavior wrong, or in this case, correct.
Told an elaborate plot was being hatched with scary words like disinformation and misinformation and deep fakes to rob poor innocent Joe Biden of his rightful
Oh my God.
Deep fakes? What the fuck are you talking about? Deep fakes like Photoshop, like algorithmically generated image. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God, chat.
The disinformation thing is happening.
God.
Like right now.
This is bad.
Most of the fucking Republican Party does not believe that Donald Trump legitimately lost the election.
I was informed in no uncertain terms that Attorney General Bill Barr had masterminded a devious plot to confiscate ballot boxes, or that Trump would force the FDA to inject all...
Bill Barr has literally just authorized the Department of Justice to start investigating fucking Twitter and YouTube viral video claims about illegitimate voter action. I'm gonna kill myself. I actually can't believe this bitch. This is insane to me. Are you actually like CIA?
Wow, okay, I feel less bad now, chat. I called somebody a bitch in one of my VODs, and I have felt bad about it since then. Chat, I got mad and I called somebody a bitch, right, in one of my VODs. And I was so fucking, like, upset with myself.
What are these takes?
And Vaush just drops it like...
toxic hydroxychloroquine or something.
Well, no beans are allowed to be edgier than me, chat. No beans edgier than me, okay? No canceling the queen. What are our other rules? We have other rules, don't we?
Incompetent, that means they can't also try to orchestrate a coup.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't call people bitches. Like, you can call them bitches if you mean it like you're a bad bitch and I respect you. If you're like bitch in a good way, that's cool. But if you call somebody a bitch like it's a bad thing, that's fucking cringe, chat, and I shouldn't have done it. I feel bad about it. I feel really bad about it. I mean, she's called, the girl that, like, I called a bitch has called me much worse, but still, I don't like to be like that.
We just need to calm down a little bit.
Sure, Trump is launching legal challenges and refusing to concede, but even state...
Crystal, yeah.
This unprecedented anti-democratic rejection of the election process.
Like, I love how my...
Oh, yeah, okay. He's also doing the thing that I just made fun of liberals for saying he was going to do.
Media outlet
I love how my threshold is Vaush. As long as I'm, like, less bad than Vaush, I'm okay.
Wait. Is she seriously going to say the fact that the Trump administration is too far gone for Fox News is a point in favor of the Trump administration? Like, because Fox News didn't want to air this this press conference, that means the Trump administration is actually like the good guy?
To be counted, and we want every illegal vote.
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing.
Yeah, oh, that's right. I forgot about this. Fox actually cut them off.
But that's an explosive charge to
and they got mad. They did not like that.
Because the press conference was literally nothing but the disinfo that Cristobal seems to be implying doesn't actually take place, or...
The other side is effectively rigging
meow,
and
chat. Meow, meow.
If she does bring proof of that, of course, we'll take you back.
Chat, do you like me?
Far, she has started saying right at the outset.
Do you like me, chat?
Welcoming fraud, welcoming illegal voting.
Meow, meow.
Not so fast.
Meow, meow.
Know, one of the greatest lies of the Trump era was that this dude was remotely up to the task of being some Hitlerian figure. Now here we stand with every network,
the little dudes
including
come up.
Fox
Aw, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Meow, meow.
First of all of the media organizations of the Weimar Republic stood against Adolf Hitler. For the fact that the media is united against him is not...
Wait, actually, I didn't know that. Is that true, chat?
The liberal administration, the liberal
actually didn't know this.
outlets, the liberal pundits, the
See,
liberal
Vaush is
the liberal commentators
smart
of
about
the Weimar
some
Republic
things
laughed
that I'm not smart about.
The fact that he is a joke does not
Once
mean
in a
he's
while.
not dangerous. The fact that he is incompetent
meow,
does not mean that he is not dangerous. The fact that media organizations do not like him does not mean that he is not dangerous. He is the president of the United States of America. This persistent lie that Trump can't be dangerous because he's a fucking idiot is completely unsubstantiated. Hitler was a fucking idiot. Read any history book. Hitler was habitually incompetent, ignorant, self-absorbed, narcissistic, and ego-driven. Hitler was not some nefarious fucking mastermind. He was a methed-out dipshit who was competent at public speaking. He was not some fucking evil overlord. Stupidity is not antithetical to a threat. This is an insanely perspective.
I didn't know this.
This actually sinks below.
Never read an estimation of Hitler's intelligence. I never really have thought about it.
We're in the midst of an unprecedented threat to our
I assumed that he was
democracy.
just very charismatic, not necessarily that he was a mastermind.
By doing what he always does, saying a bunch of ridiculous crap, sending
which apparently Trump is too.
And not a whole heck of a lot else.
Isn't that fucked up though? Does it hurt you to know certain people that are charismatic that you hate? Doesn't, you know what I mean? If somebody's like charismatic, but they're like horrible and you hate them, doesn't that burn extra when you see like how many people are like Trump shrimp?
That doesn't really do anything.
Shrimps. They're Trump shrimps.
Matt Taibbi was exactly right when he
oh my god, fucking Matt Taibbi.
On Trump most often, like
Taibbi's so cringe. Taibbi is like incredibly cringe.
Fucking shitting on the libs, okay?
Authoritarian, nowhere near describe what he really is, and I don't mean that as a compliment. It's been proven across 4 years that Trump lacks the attention span or ambition required to implement a truly dictatorial regime.
Again, once more, the lie that you have to be sharp and competent in order to be an authoritarian or a fascist. When did these people embrace this idea that fascism was intelligent? Is that something you believe, Crystal Ball? This guy can't be a fascist. He's not
too
smart
stupid.
Enough. What do you think?
He's too stupid to be a fascist.
What preconceptions are you
Cringe
bringing to the table
is
here?
people that don't think cats are the best.
2 minutes into the plan, he'd leave the room, phone in hand, to throw on a robe and watch himself on Fox and Friends over a cheeseburger.
Trump can't be a fascist because
he eats cheeseburgers. Fascists don't eat cheeseburgers. Fascists have healthy diets.
You sound like the liberals you're making fun of right now. You sound
fascists eat shard.
Aesthetics driven as the liberals you're deigning to make fun of. Crystal Ball, you are significantly stupider and less useful to progressivism than the liberals that you make fun of. Massively so.
I mean, I tend to agree. I tend to agree.
Easily. At least they aren't so desperately driven to criticize other Democrats that they end up enabling fascism and fascist coups in the meantime.
There's no constitutional crisis coming with dueling sets of electors, let alone some military-backed coup in which Trump attempts to stay in the White House beyond.
What about best case scenario, a situation where a quarter of the population of the entire country legitimately believes they were robbed an election, and they believe that they're the victims of a coup through which only violence is capable of bringing them restitution?
Wait, let me check the date on this. I thought this was after.
Their entire fucking lives.
January 11th. Yeah, this is after. This is after. Okay.
And that Donald Trump is the true president of the United States, and then any electoral results from that point forward forever, for the rest of their natural existence, is going to be illegitimate because it's a product of the same system that robbed them now. What about that? That's best case scenario. That's best case scenario. That's without any chance of institutional change. That's best case scenario. That's nothing? Okay. I guess it isn't for you, because you're already wealthy, have a grifter job with your right-wing cohorts, and you make PACs that you steal hundreds of thousands of dollars from as consulting fees. I guess you're comfortable enough for it not to not really affect you. I care about the people who watch me. I guess that's one of the critical differences between leftists and grifters.
On his term. The latest
Final Fantasy 11?
Liberals are rather revealing and frankly just how
Blue
pathetic
skin
they
female
are.
with a
We're
pink
supposed
tail.
to be
Oh, the
deeply
cat
concerned
girls.
for the future of
Yes.
democracy because Trump
I've never
fired the
played
former
11. Isn't that
Raytheon
you can
lobbyist
do
who
that
was
in
running the
14
Department of
too?
Defense? The horrors.
What if he fired
I know
the
ants.
former
What a
Raytheon,
weird champ.
lobbyist
Best
in the
animal.
Department of
But
Defense, so we
I
could put
mean,
somebody even worse on.
you know.
First of all, he put that person there.
Go off.
Second of all, what if he wanted to put somebody even more complicit on? This is, by the way, the same logic dipshits like this. She's so fucking smug.
Yo, chat, I feel like I should have like a nazbol vortex segment.
Dude, you're a leftist,
would you like that? Would you like that if I got a nazbol vortex thumbnail and just did like a just like a segment, like it's like something I cover, because I feel like it's a big deal. It's becoming a bigger deal. We should just start covering. I should just start covering the nazbol vortex as like its own thing. Today on the nazbol vortex.
The DOD guy being fired, an even more vicious and cult-like crony being put on and then being employed against claims of voter fraud, that's not a concern. Because the first guy who was on, who didn't approve of all of this, he was a former Raytheon lobbyist. You're not a real leftist if you think that there's anyone who's worse than a Raytheon lobbyist.
And he may fire the former George W. Bush admin guy who's running the FBI.
See, still doing it, by the way. She actually thinks there's no problem with a president denying the election results, firing a fucking FBI official, and putting a crony in.
I kind of think it's that, okay, listen,
the current FBI
she's cringe in a certain way, that, like, a different way than he's cringe, and he notices, like, the cringe with her. But he doesn't, like, see the cringe in himself.
Is that all of their
Gosh, you have to look within yourself to find the cringe.
Some GSA Trump appointee is refusing to sign a letter acknowledging Biden's election. Inconceivable. What if they have to wait a week or two before they can decide in earnest whether they're giving
the nazbol vortex is not real.
What the fuck is she talking about right now? This is one of literally dozens of attempts. Literally dozens of attempts of trying to delegitimize the outcome here.
Okay.
So Vaush, I'm told that
I'll
you
try to
said
be
some
more
not very nice things about me and are not a big fan of Rising. I'll be honest with you, I haven't actually watched, so I'm gonna assume everything was said in like good faith and substantive, etc. I can't watch.
Why do you assume that?
Too much of a fragile.
Yeah, I wouldn't
special
assume
snowflake
that.
To,
I wouldn't assume that, Crystal.
Tell me in your own words, like, what was your issue with Rising, with me working with Saagar? Like, lay that out for me.
So I won't speak ill of Saagar because I don't want to put you in a position where you have to defend like a coworker. In front of me, because I think that's a really
well. Listen, Saagar has plenty of cringe views that I'm happy to tell him.
She won't defend him.
Face,
no.
So go ahead.
No, okay. Well, I know because I've been put in that position. Like, oh, you have to defend your friends, whatever. So I'll
Crystal,
say this
Kyle,
much.
and
I've seen
friends.
A lot of your solo content
where is
the past
this
couple
on?
of months, and I find it generally extremely agreeable. I think that
does chat know when the rest of this is coming out?
Very specific intention when you do your work on Rising, when you work with Saagar, right? And it's to convince people fundamentally that the Democratic Party is bad. This is a noble goal.
This looks bad too because it's like he's kind of sweaty. He's like, I don't know, he's like falling all over himself to be like, yeah, no, dude, like, I wasn't really criticizing you hardcore. I mean, it would just be kind of better if you weren't such a tool for the right wing, but oh my god, like, you're still fighting on the same side as us, but like, yeah, no, you're kind of just, I don't know, dude.
Okay, it's one that I
mean, we just saw what he had to say about the Rising, and then it goes to this, and it just feels like he's really just, I don't know, like, this is gross.
And it's one that
this is sad.
You are very effective in delivering in many instances as well, because some of the
got the compliment lasagna out. Chat, don't give compliment lasagnas. I gave a compliment lasagna. It didn't matter. If you're gonna at somebody, okay? It's gonna be bad. They're not gonna like it. They're gonna try to cancel you. But whatever, dude. Just fucking say it, dude. Just fucking say it. But like, oh my god, this shit. Of like, okay, well, you know, you're like a really effective communicator, but if you could just not be so useful to the nazbol vortex, that would be great. That would be great.
Some of the
oh
blatant hypocrisies of the Democratic Party. I feel like it can be very difficult to call them out unless you're willing to go like full hog on it. You know what I mean? Going the full hog. You really go into it. And I respect the hell out of that. Sometimes.
Chat, do you think he's going to go full hog into this, like, I don't know. What is this? The Destiny arc? What the fuck is this? What are we witnessing, chat? What are we witnessing? Is this just getting worse? Is this just getting worse? Like, it was pretty bad earlier this week. I mean, that was really fucked up that you put us through that with your fucking shithead Takemeister, right? Like, you had to Takemeister Lauren Southern shit. You had to Takemeister that shit. You had to put my fucking life at risk with that shit. What the fuck, Vaush? What the fuck? And now you're fucking sitting there sweating, kissing Crystal's ass? Like, this is gross. What the fuck, dude? I used to respect you. What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened, you joke?
I feel like these criticisms they implicitly downplay the threat of the Republican Party, which works sometimes as a rhetorical strategy. Because again, the more afraid people are of the Republican Party, the more likely they are to accept anything the Democratic Party will give them. So you need to do that to an extent. But at the same time, I disagreed with the extent to which you seem to at some points. One of the big examples being the January 6th Capitol riots. Now, did I think this was going to like overthrow?
I got
the
a little
US?
bit of a problem with your take on the
crazies invading the building. Whatever.
The main remember, I was promised a riot.
Oh,
this is aged well. Oh my god, dude!
The entire Republican Party, like
he is eating.
They normalize it, sure. Next time, maybe a
he's
couple
taking
Democratic
that.
senators
He's
take
taking that
when they stand too close to an open window, and then we start
and
seeing
taking a
those
big old bite.
justifications. Eventually, we start talking about beer hall putsches, which is what I'm trying to stay away from.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so sorry, dude. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm trying not to like. I'm not actually happy about this. I'm not actually happy.
I think if you watch my coverage or our coverage of January 6th, I was certainly let Saagar speak for himself, but I was certainly as like appalled and
climbing the ladder does not sound very anarchist
of
to
that
me.
Particular event. More of my intention with Rising and the work that I'm doing with Saagar, which you probably know, like we just did our last Rising, but we have new things coming, so it's not like my partnership with Saagar is ending.
Best of luck.
Well, thank you. More of the intention is right now, I feel, and you can tell me if you think that this is correct, that the country is splitting along sectarian lines in a way that is really, I think, very troubling.
Dude,
and
it's
maybe
gross to see people clout shark at Vaush, and it's gross to see Vaush clout shark at other people. This transactional shit.
Elected leaders or thought leaders in Washington who are
this ain't leftism.
Right?
I hate to fucking break it to you, dog, but this ain't leftism.
From working in West Virginia and growing up in rural Virginia and living in Kentucky, living in the Rust Belt in Ohio.
This is how you become part of the system.
There who have
this is how you lose your way.
That we could very much.
This is how you sell out.
Who are
right
very
here
mistrustful
before our eyes.
Of the establishments of both party, who could potentially be brought into a true, actual multiracial working class coalition. Yeah, I believe in that. And so the project of Rising and in working with Saagar in general.
Chat, am I going to have to do the woke sculpture right?
Ways where we can
am I going to have to do the woke sculpture right?
Have regular people view each other not as the enemy. Recognizing that actually your adversary is the people who are holding power, who are keeping this status quo system in place, versus like if you go on Tucker, if you watch what Tucker does, he's saying like you need to be afraid of your neighbor. Your neighbor is an existential threat.
Yeah, and he does culture war bullshit all the time.
And you see a lot of that coming from plenty of, mainline Democrats as well, of like, these people are different, they're evil, they want to destroy they're fascist, they're all racist, all of them are irredeemable. And are there racists who voted for Donald? Of course, yeah. Are there plenty of people with like views? 100, yeah, sure. But to dismiss the entire half of the country as
this
like,
is not what I came here to do.
Bad, irredeemable people. I think that leads the country in a very bad place. So,
like, what
I think maybe some of the criticism of Saagar and I that I've really reflected on, and that I used to kind of like object to, is this idea that maybe we emphasize our commonalities too much. But as I've reflected on that, that's actually intentional, because we get people who have watched us truly across the entire ideological spectrum, who come to us and routinely say like,
I'm fucking glad I didn't hitch my train to this shit,
but
though.
They still respect me, and they come to realize like, oh, so this person in my life who has very different politics than me, they're not the enemy. We're able to talk about politics again. We don't hate each other. We've been able to heal those relationships. So that's actually more of the intent of the show than just like making people think that the Democratic Party is bad, which I'm also happy to, I gave Biden a lot of credit when he did the vaccine, like the patent protection, and said, hey, we shouldn't do that, even though I'm waiting for follow up on that. So where they do good things, I try to give them credit. And it's really not the core of what I'm all about, to convince people that the Democratic Party.
We got to start purity testing, okay?
Okay, I think that's a
don't place your hopes and dreams on a fucking clown like this, okay?
The thing you
don't let that happen again.
Don't demonize your neighbor.
Let's not do that shit.
Important, because
let's not trust people like this, okay? That's what I'm saying.
I get because I
Fuck
debate
this shit.
a lot of people. I bring people on all the time. hundreds of people at this point now I've talked to, and one of the biggest things I notice from Republicans is a sense of insecurity. And I don't mean that in like a haha, like you're a beta male or whatever type way. I mean that in a feeling that the culture is leaving them behind, and they are preemptively despised by basically every institution in this country, from Hollywood to the mainstream news to the Democratic voters, which outnumber them. And that if they're going to be despised, they might as well stop caring about what they want anyway. And I think that's a very destructive, on in every way, a very destructive process politically. At the end of the day, I mean, we're all sociological agents. There's nothing inherently leftist about me. If I was born to a different set of parents,
that's
I probably
gonna get
could have been a
flipped.
conservative.
And I almost don't feel bad about it.
A moderate
I
Democrat,
almost don't feel bad about the fact that that's gonna get flipped.
We're all very well molded
like,
by
granted,
our
that's not what he's
and
saying,
to condemn
but
people morally for the misfortune of having been born into circumstances which maybe led them down.
Yeah, at least Briscoe was never a nazbol, right? She might have done some
the condemnation
questionable.
I also think there's a very selective
things, but
form of forgiveness that can exist on the left. Like, I'm opposed to the death penalty.
She never kissed Crystal's ass.
Mass incarceration state that we have. I think people who,
not even Alf would do that. Yo, dude, you're like more cringe than Alf. Do you realize that?
I think they should be able to breathe.
More cringe than
I think
Alf.
everybody on the left would basically agree with that. But then there are other areas where if you, say or do the wrong thing or hold the wrong view, we're done with you, right? There's no coming back. You're not allowed back in the circle. And that's something I really disagree with. And I'll be honest with you, Vaush, like, especially back during the protest movement over the summer. It was
Dude, who the fuck is Crystal's audience anyway? Who is Vaush getting in? Who is Vaush adding to his audience? Who's gonna come from? Who's she gonna add? Wine moms? Who fucking watches Crystal?
Did not line
up.
Who
watches Crystal?
And so I did some
thirsty dudes, probably thirsty dudes too. It's probably not just wine moms, but thirsty dads.
And I guess what I really
not dads,
back
thirsty
to is Saagar
uncles.
is, and you don't
know him personally,
uncles?
So do uncles watch
you
her?
don't have insight to
is
see
it uncles?
Saagar
Boomers, right? It's boomers,
good faith
right?
Actor and
what's her demo? Is it boomers?
And
it's boomers, right?
As he could possibly be.
What's Vaush gonna do with boomers?
If I
Vaush,
talk to Saagar.
Is this even smart? Who are you going to get from this?
With me on like 70%
Who the
of
fuck
things.
watches Crystal that Vaush is going to get? I don't understand this move.
Believes in my good intentions and really wants to hear me out and see my point. Like, if I can't handle that debate,
like, you can't have TikTok and Facebook at the same time, Vaush. Do you understand this? You can't hold those both. Those are mutually exclusive. You can't have them both. You have to choose.
The reason why you felt that at that particular time is because the view that he was espousing, you thought was not within the bounds of respectable discourse. And I actually agree with you on that, because his whole argument was like, yeah, bring in the army to like crack down domestically on protesters. That's deeply against the First Amendment. That's deeply authoritarian. You viewed that as outside of the bounds of reason. And some other times when he disagrees with you, might not think it's outside the bounds of reason. Like,
I don't know what to do, chat. Like, I feel like, okay, listen,
whatever it might be,
before...
you might think, yeah, I don't agree with you, but I see it.
Yeah.
But this was one where you're like, no.
I'll be the first to admit that in the last 3 months, there have been a few times where I've probably appeared too angry on stream. Yes, that is true. That I will acknowledge that, right? I don't know how to get angry enough here. I don't know how to properly show my displeasure in this shit. I don't know exactly what to say, exactly what to do, but it just feels really gross. This is actually really, this is hugely fucking disappointing. After a week of, bullshit.
Not only do I not agree with you, I don't even see your point, and I think you're, actively hostile.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it was very difficult. But that gets to the more important point is, and this happens with discourse all the time, where are your actual red lines where you're like, hey, if you believe this, I can't even be friends with you. If somebody's pro-genocide, you're not going to be like, well, we just disagree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there are red lines, but then there's other things that you might disagree, but they're not red lines. So I think that's why it was hard for you at that point.
And just to add to that, and then I want to hear what you have to say, Vaush, is Yeah,
Vaush is definitely
that's
manga-esque
exactly why.
right here.
Mhm.
He's
But then
afraid
it's
they're gonna
also
bring up his
case
clips or
that
something and be like,
there's
but what about when you
a
said this,
large
Vaush? Like,
portion
oh
of
no, I
Americans
didn't
who
mean
will
that
think
you were...
that was-
views,
that's why
which
you
is
stayed, I
what was
think.
like so uncomfortable.
When I
about
said
the whole
useful
situation.
idiots, I meant in the
70% of
nicest
poll, there was
sense
like
of...
70%
you
or something
see, the
agreed with
word...
deploying the military in U.S. streets, and so you were like, I
The
guess
word
if it's 70% of the
idiot
country, I have
comes
to
from the
argue
root
against
word
this position,
idio,
basically, was your point. Anyway,
which
I'm
is
sorry,
from the
Bob.
Latin...
Just
No,
stole
I
it.
run into that all the time.
Elf
I am
bad.
frequently disappointed with the popularity of some of the positions that people... Sometimes I argue against a position online, and I think, nobody actually believes this. I'm wasting my time. This is some
Tell
always
the
online
scandal.
bullshit.
Talk about the scandal that just happened.
No, wait, hold on.
Surprising.
Maybe in a
Oh.
second. Okay, hold on. We just poured water on that fire. So a couple things. First of all, again, I don't like arguing against people who aren't here, so I'll just say I cordially invite Saagar to an arm wrestle anytime. We happen to we can keep it to that. You know, it's good. I've been working out
Chat,
lately. I think
you
I
have
can
to
do
expect
it. You know,
more
I'm
than...
feeling
You have to expect
You've been
better.
hitting the Peloton hard during quarantine. I don't know, Vaush.
Like,
all right. Hey, you know what? I
this
invite
ain't it,
the
Chief.
challenge.
This ain't it.
One of the issues I have, because this is
This
kind
is
of
bullshit.
the problem I have with right populism. It feels like every discussion I have with a right populist is like we agree for 40 minutes. Yeah, the establishment is bad. Workers in this country are being oppressed. Yeah, the media is like an oligarchy that's being used to distract people from meaningful issues. And then they get caught on some culture war
eating
talking
full
point
issues?
and
Did he say
instantly
eating?
swap into fascism.
He means like
in a nanosecond.
understanding...
Like, I can spend all this time agreeing with them at a
Digesting.
point, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, but Black Lives Matter is burning cities down, so we have to revoke citizenship and deport people and use like Secret Service black bags to take protesters away and interrogate them to find out which anarchist cells are ruling there. These are, so again, we're not talking Saagar. I've had convos with people like this,
Yeah.
but it's a thing I've noticed too. Same with trans issues too. People will agree on like everything. Like, yeah, you know, I think workers need more rights. I think the Republican Party has gone crazy. I think et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you know, trans women using the same bathroom as my daughter, I don't know. So I'm going to abandon every other position I've just spent the past 40 minutes agreeing with you on.
See, now,
and vote
I'm
Republican.
not sure, I'm kind of unsure where he's
that
going
in
with
favor
this
of whatever
now. I want to
meaningless
like
virtue
assume
signal
the best.
anti-civil rights bills they're going to pass.
I want to
last
assume the
3 years
best
before they get overturned and the whole country moves on from this. And that's a pattern that I've noticed. And I don't know how much being anti-establishment means if you're willing to drop all of it.
Right.
Over a culture war issue.
Okay, so maybe he's subtweeting a little bit. There was a little bit of something, maybe. I mean, it wasn't exactly pushback, but it was like something. I don't know, chat. I don't know. What's this? We have a clip. It's no comment. I'll be honest with you, Vaush.
The protest movement over the summer. It was
Dude, who the
really,
fuck
it was
is
tense at
Crystal's
times
audience
between
anyway?
Saagar and I. That
Who
was
is
probably
Vaush getting in? Who
most
is Vaush
difficult
adding to his
period of the
audience?
show,
Who is
because
gonna
we
come
had
from?
both of us
Who's
had
she gonna
very
add?
strongly held
Wine
views
moms?
that
Who fucking
did not-
watches Crystal?
did not line
Who
up
watches
whatsoever.
Crystal?
And so I did some
Thirsty
soul searching
dudes,
at that
probably
point of,
thirsty
like,
dudes too. It's probably
you
not
know,
just
like,
wine.
Oh
my god, I need to
thirsty
cut. I need
dads
to
or
cut this.
And I guess what
Or
I really
not
came
dads,
back
thirsty
to is Saagar
uncles.
is, and you don't
Uncles,
you don't
is
know
it
her
uncles?
fully,
Do
so,
uncles
you know,
watch
you
her?
don't have insight to
Is
see
it
this,
uncles?
but
Is that the
Saagar
boomers,
is
right? It's
good
boomers,
faith
right?
an actor, and
What's her
as
demo?
honest
Is it
an
boomers?
actor and
It's
as good of a
boomers,
partner
right?
as he could possibly be.
What's Vaush gonna do
So
with
it's like,
boomers?
if I can't talk
Vaush,
to Saagar,
is this
like,
even
we're fucked as a
smart?
country.
Who are
Like,
you
here
gonna
he is,
get from
he agrees
this?
with me on like 70%
Who the
of
fuck
things.
watches
and is
Crystal
just,
that
like,
Vaush is gonna get? I don't
trusts
understand
me
this
and
move.
believes in my good intentions and really wants to hear me out and see my especially
Oh
back
man, I'll be
during
honest
the,
with you, Vaush.
the protest
Okay.
movement over the summer. It was
Dude, who
really,
the fuck
it was
is
tense at
Crystal's
times
audience
between
anyway?
Saagar and I. That
Who
was
is
probably
Vaush getting in? Who is
most
Vaush
difficult
adding? Oh wait, is there like thing to his
period of the
audience?
show,
Who is
because
gonna
we
come
had-
from?
both of us
Who's
had
she gonna
very
add?
strongly held
Wine
views
moms?
that
Who
did
fucking
not-
watches Crystal?
did not line
Who
up
watches
whatsoever.
Crystal?
My good intentions and really wants to hear me out and see my especially
Okay,
back
anyway,
during
I'll be honest
the,
with you, Vaush.
the protest movement over
That's pretty epic. Okay, well, all I know is this chat.